Hmm.
What would you say are some other themes that are particular to women when you've coached women?
Yeah. Well, and with what you just said, I love that because it's empowering for both parties. It's empowering for the woman being vulnerable and saying the thing first, because when we bring things from darkness into light, they lose power. And so if there's been a lie or there's something that is being held within that's not true, well, if we bring truth to the or bring it to the surface, truth will will fight to get the attention instead and replace it. And then it also empowers the other individual to, like you're saying, to know, oh, I'm not alone. I mean, oh, when it, there's been so many times where I leave with women and we're like, man, we're just so glad we have this conversation. I'm feeling so free and alive because of, like, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your strengths. Thank you for sharing your successes and letting me celebrate with you. Thank you for sharing your fears and your insecurities so that I can, one, relate and be like, me too. And then also know how to champion you moving forward. And so, yeah, one thing that I continuously experience in coaching sessions with women is identity and self-worth, and come back to that a lot. We like you mentioned, we face so many different transitions and seasons of life, and um, there's also a lot of times layers to healing and to working through various things. And so one season we can feel on top of the world in an area, and then a transition happens and all of a sudden it shakes our self-worth. So where to anchor that self-worth, and um, how to be able to find truth in the moments that feel unstable or feel like our worth is being stripped, because it never is. We're valuable and worthy no matter what. Um, and so how to have reassurance in that. And so I find that mostly when I'm coaching women, it comes back a lot to that identity, self-worth, and value piece.
I love that. Identity, self-worth, and value. And then you touched on something else there around kind of transitions. And often when I'm working with women and we're looking at work-life balance, and my word of the year this year is enrich. So I was actually reading an article which talked about work-life enrichment. And I thought, I like that better, actually. And I know John talks about work-life integration, but I thought, let me think about work-life enrichment, because I don't know about you, and I'm sure other women who are listening, my wheel of life is never balanced. And I think that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there have been times when I've strived for that, or I have coached women, or I know women who are striving to check all the boxes and have all that balance, and have success at this level and reach it at this point and be here in career and be the perfect mom, or not, whatever you've chosen. I'm not mom either, whatever you've chosen is right for you, or there is so much pressure on women, and then there's comparison to look and be a certain way. So I like to think of it around kind of work life enrichment and how does it connect to the individual, because for me, my life's work is around coaching, and it is around learning and growth. And even in my spare time, I'd like to read books around that. But there are times when I just want to completely disconnect. So what does it mean for you, Ashley? Life balance, or what would you call it?
Yeah, I love enrichment. I love that word. That's really beautiful. I think similarly, a lot of what I do for my full-time position would spills over into everything else that I do as well. And coaching is a part of my life and multiple parts of my wheel. So, which I'm really fortunate for that. I mean, man, when I took the program, 8 years ago now? Whoa. I had no idea how it would impact so many pieces of the wheel. I just think we need to just offer ourselves just a little more grace, ladies. Like, we're so hard on ourselves. And like Raj is saying, there's so one, there's so much, women are just remarkable in just what we do. Like, look at the women closest to you in your life and look at all the things that they're doing. I am blown away by the women in my life. They are astounding. And multiple times I'm like, I don't even know how you do it. But, and it would be okay if they weren't too. They're, again, they would hold that value. But it's just women have just this insanely, like, there's just something within us that is really unique and wonderful. And so I would say, we can offer ourselves more grace in that, and give intentional space for fun and for laughter and for that community to have those vulnerable spaces, or for laughter, whatever it might be. Like, give yourself intentional space for some things that are release and joy. And it will, I think, impact the enrichment of everything else as well. We're meant to also play. And I think as women too, like most of the women in my life that I know, even if they're not like outright, like incredibly goofy, like I can be at times, there's a side of all of us women that I've come in contact with that we want to be playful. It's just part of, I'm not trying to speak for every woman, but have laughter in your life and play, and find women, and surround yourself with women that you want to be like, and that you can be, but you can also be yourself with. And that's been one of the most powerful things, I think, for me, is intentional community and relational healing with women. And that impacts the wheel. I mentioned that because I think all of that impacts how I show up at work, and or whatever it might be. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Ashley, because Ashley reminded me of 8-year-old me. And I was about 9, I think, was going on in the UK to kind of the next phase of school. And the teacher signed it for me. She was one of my favorite teachers. I said earlier I didn't have that many role models in leadership, but I did at school. I had some phenomenal teachers who saw me. And I'm still looking for her. I haven't been able to find her. But she wrote a message in it, and it said, work hard, yet play hard too. And that reminded me of that, that message in there. And another teacher who, really saw me and took me under her wing. And I think those sometimes are the women and the people that we remember in our life. And I loved what you said. You said, surround yourself with women that perhaps you aspire to be like, yet it's a safe space for you to be wherever you're at now as you grow, a judgment-free space, isn't it? And I can't believe how fast this time's gone, because we are at time, almost 1 minute over. But how would you like to close us out, Ashley?
Oh, okay. Just know your beauty and your worth, ladies. You are remarkable. You are here for a reason and a purpose, and you have so much to offer exactly where you are. And so we are for you, and we're excited for you to be for yourself too.
Thank you, Ashley. Well,
how do you want to close it out, Raj?
Well, I'm a huge fan. My role model is Maya Angelou, and I posted a quote from her on LinkedIn the other day. And it's her poem, I Am Phenomenal Woman. And when I read that, and the permission that she gives herself in that to be all woman and own it. And the quote talks about, I must have done something wonderful in this life or a past life to have been born a woman. I think we need to focus on the gift that being a woman actually is.
Absolutely. Yeah. I am a phenomenal woman.